Alright, hey there YouTube. Got the Comanche turned around. We're at the front axle. I got the new Tracbar mount in. Got it welded on, welded together. One thing I'm probably going to have to do is because I took a straight edge and I checked the bottom hole all the way to that hole. And I think the track bar is not going to be parallel with this drag link because of the drop pitman arm. So yeah, it's going to be too high over here, and then it'll come in and be almost level. So what I got to do is I think I'm going to have to measure, and I'm going to have to drill another hole up in here somewhere, because I think you want your can't remember where I read it or heard it, but you want your track bar and drag link to be parallel to one another. So that's what I'm going to try to do. I gotta swap these around. For some reason they're on the wrong, like I need to take it and just turn it around because it's not facing the right way. It needs to go from wide at an angle in. Right now it'd be going at an angle out, but it's forced to go in up there. So I'll have to fix that. I got some drop and like angle brackets that will bolt up in here and bring the sway bar farther out so it's not contacting the spring right there. And I think, I'm not too sure about the camber or caster. Yeah, camber is the tire this way, and then the caster is like this for the ball joints. And I think the upper ball joint for positive camber has to be rotated back. I'm not sure. I tried researching it, and it's one of them things that hard for me to understand. So I got to get that done. I got to still cut off that old bracket. So I'm gonna work on that next. My track bar won't come in until the 22nd, and I will probably be gone picking up the other project. So this is gonna have to sit here and wait. I'm actually gonna move it out to the street. Let it sit there for a while until I get the new project in. I'm still cleaning the garage, but I'm going to tighten some bolts and we will see what happens. So I'll bring you back when I'm on to the next stage. Hey there YouTube, out here in the garage, looking at this new track bar. Got the end out of it. Here's the end over here. It's too long. Even if I drill a hole higher up to try and make this thing parallel with the drag link, I need like I don't know, about an inch and a half cut out of the end of this thing, because this end, we can try not to block it's kind of hard with the sun the way it's shining. It sticks out about 2.5 2.5 inches or so, not quite 2.5, so I'm going to say 2 3/8. Won't count the last couple of threads on that thing. So if I take out about, maybe if I cut out 1.25 inches from this, I can chuck this thing up in the lathe and get rid of this weld, and then I'll put it back, slide it back in, weld it, and that should shorten it up enough. So that's what I'm going to do. First I gotta move some stuff in the driveway. Have no place to put my lawnmower. I'm thinking about buying a little shed. I can just sit right over there in front of the house. I'll lock it up in there. But I've got to wait till I get a little bit of money because they're kind of expensive. It's like $500 for this stupid thing. So while I do that, here I'm gonna show you this preview of this project that I was talking about, I think, in one of the other videos. I did film a video looking at it, but I didn't know how to tag it, so it's only got a few views. So hopefully this thing gets a little more views. But it's a 1963 Chevy Corvair. It's pretty rough. This isn't the car that my uncle was telling me that I could have, but it was another one, and the one he said that I could have was like all blocked in or something. He told me some story, so I don't really know. But this was the next best car, but has no real interior. Has back seat, which is good. I mean, good that I have it. No front seat. You know, more on this as we go along. Got a lot of plans for this car. There's no engine in the back, but there's a block. But this thing is going to get a motor swap and a transaxle transmission swap as well, and then a bunch of you know, custom goodies that I have planned up in my head that I'm hoping will work. Body seems to be pretty straight, except for like places where they got this mud on, this Bondo. You know, suspension upgrade. All the glass seems to be good. I'm missing a piece of glass here, and he said it might be in this box, but I didn't really look in there to see what all could be in there. So we'll see. We'll go through it, clean it up. Got to strip out the floors, make sure they're not big. There's not big holes in it. But I think this is a good starter for what I want to do. You know, some damage here and a little bit on the bumper, but I think I can tap a lot of that out. Yeah, no motor. So we'll get more. We'll talk more about this thing. Let me get onto the job, the task at hand, and then we'll look at this some more as we go along. So stay tuned, and I'll be right back. Okay, guys, we're back. I couldn't get it in the, couldn't cut it off and get it in the lathe, so I had to just sit there with the grinder and grind and grind and grind. So that was pretty boring. I think I'm gonna pop this back out before I start tacking and welding. I think I'm gonna cut about 1.5 inches more off, and then I'll bevel it again, and then I'll pop it together, give it a chance to have some adjustment in here. So yeah, probably about another 1/2 inch. and then I'll weld it. We'll call it good. And then I'll bring the truck back up here on the driveway, move the Ford, move the red Jeep, then drill my hole that I need to in the Tracbar mount, and then get this thing all lined up and get it in there. So then at least that part of it will be done. Then I'll have to take it in for an alignment and have them do the brakes, because I'm not able to bleed them for some reason. So I got to figure that out. So we'll be back when we get this thing on, though. Alright guys, back. Here's the Tracbar. Here's the end. I had to order another one of these because I screwed it up. I cut too deep and ended up screwing up some of the threads inside, so now this will only screw on to this link or whatever you want to call it. So far I've tried forcing it on, straightened out the threads a little bit, but it won't go on quite enough. So before I screwed this up, these threads, I decided to just get on Rusty's off-road and find this piece, which they have. Ordered it, now it's on its way. Then I can weld it up back together. So yeah, hopefully it works. Otherwise I'm gonna have to just order another one, because I've made the mistake of thinking that the axle was centered, and it's not. It's actually on this side, leaning this way more, and so it needs to be pushed that way, the body anyway, and the axle needs to come this way. So what I'm going to do while I'm waiting for that part to come in is I'm just going to start messing with the brakes. Hopefully bleed them some more, get them to build pressure, and so we'll be able to stop. So I'm going to get to that and bring you back with whatever I find. Okay guys, we're back. Found out why my brakes are not building pressure. That little guy, that little brake sensor, whatever you want to call it, it is spraying fluid out the top. So I got to figure out if I can get a hold of one of these, or if I can block it off. So I'm gonna go see if I can't find one at the parts store. Here's like one, but it was doing the same thing. That's why I replaced it to that one. So I'm gonna look for either a block off plug or a new one. So I looked on the forums, and they said some of them said that it could be blocked inside, but I got fluid coming out the front brakes. They said that was the main culprit, that the front brakes could be blocked, but I got fluid coming out, so that's not the case. I just got to get this figured out. So I have a couple of clips I'll show you of me setting up the camera, going in and pumping the brakes and fluid coming out. One was discovering that fluid was coming out, and the second one, that clip will be of fluid shooting out of that thing. So let me go try to track down some parts, hopefully get that fixed, because I don't need that. It's just sitting here in the driveway backing up and going forward. It doesn't have brakes, it just wants to keep rolling. So I'll bring you back when I get something figured out. Alright, we're back. If you can see down there, you see that bolt. That's where that sensor or whatever sender unit, I guess it tells you when you don't have no brakes. As you saw from those clips of the brake fluid shooting out. Hopefully that'll solve my problem. So I'll just have a light on the dash. Because if I have no brakes, I'm going to know it. You know, you're going to feel it. So hopefully that fixed it. I wouldn't recommend doing this. It's just something I thought of to do. So I'm gonna try it. I just got to bleed the brakes and see if it works. It looks like I got a little bit of wetness on that flare nut right there on the back. I'll spray it and wipe it down and try to pump up the brakes again and make sure it's not leaking. But I'll get the brakes bled and hopefully this works. What it is I went down to the hardware store, figured that little sender unit, whatever you want to call it, had the bolt threads. So I found a bolt that was shorter. Still had to grind off the end, clean up the end with the file. Put a little bit of Teflon tape, cut it off the end, so it wouldn't get down and gum up the proportioning valve. Just had a little bit up towards the upper threads and then put a fiber washer on it and tightened it down, and hopefully it doesn't leak. Tightened it down pretty good, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend doing this. This is just something I came up with to, you know, for my own thing. So I'll update you guys when I get brakes in the next video, because I'll probably be tracking something else down, I'm sure. So till next time, y'all take care now.